Good morning again, everybody. It's so nice to see you. Woo! And those of you online, we're so glad that you're tuning in as well. So I know I talk a lot about my family and my childhood, but there's so many interesting things that happened there that I like to bring to you guys. So when we were little kids, my mom and dad really wanted us to learn about art because they thought that art was something that was so vitally important in our culture, because it's a way in which people are transmitting in such a unique, beautiful way their own stories, their own experiences of life. And my parents thought, you guys need to know that. You need to see it all so that you can see the different ways in which people express themselves through their own creativity. So when we were traveling as a kid, we went to a lot of places because of my dad's work. So we were always going somewhere across the country. And so at every city, my mom and dad took us to an art museum. And yeah, I hated it. I hated it. Hated it. Just like I would scream and cry. Oh my God. I hated it. Yeah. Holy confession. No, did not like it. Because I was a real active kid, and I loved to run and jump and touch things and break things and scream and play and all that good stuff. And you put me in an art museum at age 8 and you're asking me to stand there and look at something, that's not going to go well. And it never did go very well. Because my mom would watch me fidgeting, and I'd be doing this, looking at something, and she'd go, "Don't stop it. Look at the art. Look at the beauty. Look at the soulfulness." And my soul wasn't feeling that. My soul was feeling like going outside or going to a zoo. That would have been much better for me as a child, to go to all the zoos at the different cities that we visited. And then there's my sister. She would always try to instigate a fight at the museum. I'd be doing really well. I'd be sitting there and, okay, I can stand still. I got this. And she'd come over and pinch me, and then the running began. And there we were, just causing all kinds of trouble. So needless to say, I was really grateful when we were traveling and I didn't have to go to a museum, because that was one less opportunity for me to get in trouble, and I liked that. But something I did take away from all that museum hopping and whatnot is I did develop a really deep appreciation for art, because I think it is really important. So those of you that are teaching your little ones about art and they're having nothing to do with it, just know that when they get older, they're going to get it. It's all going to click in. And what I love about our spirituality is it celebrates the artist. Now, how many of you are artists that are here today? Raise your hands. Really? That's it? I got news for all of you guys. We are all artists. We are all artists. All of us. I am one too, and when I came into this philosophy, I didn't think I was creative at all. I thought I had no creativity, because I equated art and being a creative person with doing art, with being a musician or being a songwriter or being a painter or a sculptor. And when I heard that we are using creative energy every moment of every day, I thought, I am an artist, yay! And it unleashed something inside of me, because I wanted to be creative. Because I knew there was something inside of me that I liked to express. The little girl in the art museum, that was her art. Screaming and yelling and getting in trouble, that was her thing. But art really starts with the spirit. It starts with opening up and unleashing that part of us that just wants to run and play and be who we are, with our unique expression of how we do life. And I love that. So yes, we are all artists. And that's why my talk title today is called The Art of Living. Because we are all artists, and our lives are our masterpiece. This is what we are doing in life. It isn't just this thing of making mistakes and falling down. It's about living a life of art as you. Art is the skill in conducting human activity. Who wouldn't like a little more help in mastering the skill of human activity? Anybody? I know I'm still trying to master, right? Yeah, so the art of it all, and I believe that it's not just one and done. I believe we're continually aspiring to master this human activity that we are in, because there's so much stuff, so much conditioning we've come up with in our learning and our minds that have kept us from being that wholeness, from being that creative spirit that we are. And when we continue to do things that heal us, that kind of let us be not imprisoned by those old beliefs about ourselves, that art can really come through. So when we're in our lives and we're on a thing, we're doing something, there's something that's got our focus, this is what's happening in my life right now. What we fail to see sometimes is this. This is your life. This bigger picture that unfolds organically. We don't realize until we take that step back what we're really creating. And yes, it's very organic. I don't believe in destiny. I just don't. I believe we are continually creating our lives based on our choices, based on our consciousness. There's not one thing that's preordained. We are ordaining it as we go, and it's art. And you know what? Sometimes that art looks like that. That's okay. That's art too, right? Sometimes our lives are really messy and disorderly, but to be honest, it's all art because it's you, and you are art. So John W. Gardner said, life is the art of drawing without an eraser. How many of you have ever had, you don't have to have them now, have ever regretted something, wished you hadn't done it, or resent something? Anybody at all have that, ever experienced that? I'm not alone, right? You just want to take that big fat eraser and erase that experience or that thing you did. But you know what? Those things grew us. Those things allowed us to find something inside of ourselves, perhaps, that would say, let's not do that again, or let's not repeat that again, or, or I can do better. I can do better. But that's the beauty of life. Salvador Dali says, have no fear of perfection. You will never reach it. Never. That is so liberating, because I used to be like a horrible perfectionist, and boy, is that stressful. Oh, any other people ever dealt with, yeah, right? What a horrible way to live. I'm so glad I dropped that. Oh my gosh. But there's a perfection in doing life as we are, a perfection that isn't taught from the outside. It's the perfection of you, because we are all perfect as we are. And that's a beautiful perfection to live into. Georgia O'Keeffe says, to create one's own world takes courage, and boy, does it ever. It's not easy being us, is it? It isn't. We're out there, we're different, we think a little bit differently. We come at this world with a whole different mindset of possibility, of reality that's beyond this reality, reality capital R, that is our spiritual nature. So it takes courage to go against the grain. It takes courage to stand up and be the artist that you are. But we need you. We need all the voices. We need all the talent, the skills, the ideas that artists who see it inside of themselves to be artists, what they bring into this world is extraordinary. So we must have the courage to do and be who we are, and let those ideas, let that energy of you come out. Emerson says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. It really is. I don't know if any of you have had the life experience where you've been trying to fit in all the time, trying to do it like you're supposed to do it, right? Being what people want you to be. Anybody? The greatest accomplishment for me, honestly, in my life is when I broke out of that and I realized I want to be me from the inside out. I don't want to be what people want me to be anymore. It's so freeing, and it's really who we're here to be. Ernest says, we have all been trying to find out just what our relationship to life is, because we know by pure intuition that if we could establish a right relationship with the invisible, we should find peace, health, harmony, prosperity, and happiness. And isn't it true? I know people come here for the first time out of alignment with life, and life, capital L, simply means your divine nature. Life, big L, yeah. They know what I'm talking about, those kids. They're like, yeah, life, big L. When we come to this center, there's a life, capital L, that's trying to make itself known to us. And what we do here is we open the door and we teach you about how to find that. We teach you that you've got it. We teach you to trust yourselves. We teach you to trust the infinite source of life that is expressing by means of you. And I love that word, pure intuition. We intuitively know what that is. And so the time has come for us to embrace it and live into it, because the results of that, look at that, the results of that right relationship with the invisible. And right relationship simply means that you acknowledge it, you recognize it, and you let it in. That's a right relationship, that you're one with it consciously. When we do that, we get peace, health, harmony, prosperity, happiness, joy, all those great things that really, really mean something. The art of living is knowing you are life. You are life expressing. Right here, right now, not tomorrow, not when you're sitting on your meditation pillow. Every moment, every day, you are life expressing. And the good news is it supports you and creates as you. When I came into this center, I could not believe that statement. I didn't see that spirit is me and it expresses by means of me. It's quite a shocker when you come here for the first time and we're saying things like this to you. But I'll bet, as it happened to me, there was a rumbling inside of me that said, this is truth. This is what you've been wanting to hear your whole life, that there is life inside of you that wants to be lived. And it's not something you learn from the outside. It's something that's intuitively nestled inside of you, waiting to break free. Ernest says there's a universal wholeness seeking expression through everything. We are calling it simply life. Life is infinite energy coupled with limitless creative imagination. See, we all have that creative imagination inside of ourselves. Some of us turn it off because maybe it got us in a little trouble or we couldn't trust it. But your imagination is so, so rich and such the energy to plug into because it gives you great ideas. It gives you guidance. It gives you ways to live in this world that no matter what's going on in the world, you can rise to a higher place and see a little differently. See a possibility that you didn't realize until you opened up to that wholeness, to that life force. Because that wholeness really does yearn to be who we are. When we're not allowing it in, you know how it feels, right? You feel shut down, depressed, shut off. But when you open up to the wholeness of life, things change. You feel better, you're relaxed, you're happier. This is the wholeness that we all are. It is life, and it is us. Life flows into everything through everyone. Into everything through everything. It passes into every human event and translates itself through every human act. So when we're having a judgment about something in the world, it's life. It is life flowing. When we can see that, it kind of softens the judgment a bit because we realize it's just life. And the thing about life is it changes. We are never stuck in anything because life is like a flowing river. Life is something that expands, it contracts, it moves, it changes. And so when we can acknowledge that life that is moving through all of us, we're not as scared. Because if we trust in that wholeness moving fast and furious through all of us and raise ourselves up to see it as us, we're going to see much better things transpiring for us and our world. Our experiences have pushed our wholeness into hiding, right? When we're kids, we're really tuned into that wholeness, that play, that life force. We're right in it. But our experiences tend to push it down. Not everybody, some people that never happens to. God bless them, I wish I knew them. But for me, that wholeness, right? It's like I think, this isn't true for everybody. Some people weren't shut down as kids, but many of us were, so let's talk about that, right? So our wholeness can go into hiding because of our life experiences. And we've come to believe in limitation rather than the all-powerful creative energy that is who we are. We can get stuck in loss. We can get stuck in sadness and pessimism. That's really easy, right? But those are just reactions to life we have mistakenly claimed as our truth. We've been claiming these things as our truth for a long time because we had an experience and we said, okay, this must be the truth. And that experience led us into thinking less of ourselves, or that things weren't possible. But that wholeness isn't going to have that. It's going to start tapping on you. It's going to say, let's move into a better place of living our lives where we can feel free. Let's do that. So let's do that, right? Those are just things that we've claimed as truth that are false. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. If there is one thing I want to teach all of you is the greatness that lives within you. That is so important for me. That's one of my big things. I want you to see what's behind you, what's before you is nothing compared to the energy that is you, present in its fullness at every moment of every day. I would love for you to see that and know that and believe that so that you can live a better life. Emerson had it right. What lies within us is powerful and magnificent. Ernest says we shall not be less practical because we're more spiritual. This is a little bit of a myth. If I'm more spiritual, I can't be practical. Or if I'm more spiritual, I'm going to be spaced out or something. I'm going to be less in tune with this. He says we should deepen our faith and increase our vision. Let us build around us a wall of spiritual realization and therein dwell. Now, this wall doesn't keep you blind to the outside world. No, it doesn't at all. You can do two things at one time. You can be in the wall of spiritual realization and very well aware of what's going on in this world. The difference is you're not so triggered by it. The difference is you can rise and see, yeah, I see that outside world, but I've got this spiritual realization that knows that things are always unfolding perfectly, that good always has the last word. That is what spiritual realization does for you. You can be in both worlds, but not taken down. You must become the master of your own thinking. This is the only way you will realize freedom and joy. It is true. Our thinking has gotten very contaminated, very distorted by our assumptions, by our experiences, by stuff people have told us, by things we believed. And Ernest teaches us, you want to change your life, you want to live in joy, you want to feel the freedom of your soul, you got to watch your thinking. And we teach that a lot here. Watch your thinking, watching your belief systems. Pay attention. Because if you pay attention, you can change it, and you can have a better life, a better consciousness. Just as water purifies itself as it flows, so the impure stream of our mental life becomes purified by applied constructive thinking. We want constructive thinking, not destructive thinking. I've been there. I used to think destructively all the time. I got really tired of it. When I came here, I cleaned it up. I'm still cleaning it up, by the way, but I cleaned it up. And boy, have I experienced newfound levels of freedom and joy I never thought were possible when I was younger. If you will take time daily to sense the presence of life within you, to believe it, accept it, it will no longer be before the life which you have known. Oh, say that again, Dale. If you will take time daily to sense the presence of life within you, to believe in it, accept it, it will not be long before the life which you have known will gradually disappear and something new will be born, a bigger, better, and more perfect you. Now, we teach this importance of daily practice, spiritual practice. It can be meditation. It can be taking a walk. It can be reading something. It can be riding your Harley, Reverend William. It can be anything that makes you feel life, right? Life. When we feel the oneness with life, walking in nature, the more we do that, the more it's going to be like our regular way of being. And we won't fall into that old level of thinking that keeps us in limitation. But we got to do it every day. But you know what? It doesn't have to be a bummer. Riding the Harley, walking in the woods, meditating, petting your cat. Many ways to feel life. I love this. Emerson says, "Let us be silent that we may hear the whisper of God." I love that. Because God is always whispering to us. If you don't want to call it God, the creative energy of spirit, the creative love, the life is always whispering to us. We just got to slow down and quiet and listen to it because it's full of good information and guidance, and it's unique to everybody. Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life. I'm willing to say this is it. That is what love and joy is about. The greatest satisfaction of life, honestly, to me, is my knowing and feeling and living in unity with spirit. Because nothing can get in the way anymore when we know that. That's the satisfying life. And like I said, it's unique to everybody. And you all will find your own way. Open the windows of your mind. Open the doors of your soul. Lift up your thoughts and let life be to you whatever you wish it to be. How does that sound, everybody? I like that. I like that. Ernest really had a way. So, as you know, Isla Zimmerman turned 100 today, or no, a couple days ago, Thursday. And Dr. Laura and I had the honor of being at her birthday party. And you know, whenever somebody turns a certain age, I always want to know, what is your secret? You know, that's always something. And what's so cool is her secret was spoken from the podium of her little party that she had. So this is the art of living according to Isla Zimmerman. First, get up. If you don't get up, you ain't going anywhere. I love that. Get up. Right? I know there have been times in my life where I didn't want to get up, but I forced myself. It's like, I got to get up. I got to do this. And once you make that decision, you start to change because you're standing and there's a way to move. Second, dress up. I like that. I think Elizabeth would like that one. I like it too. Put your clothes on, dress up, go out. And dress up, it can be a metaphor. Dressing up, put on a positive attitude. Put on openness and receptivity to the day. Open up to something good happening, right? Set the intention. Dress up. Show up. Oh, yeah. We got to show up. We got to be engaged in life. I know where a lot of you have been. I know, right? This kid, man, he's great. Yeah, right? Sometimes showing up is hard. But if we just give it a shot, and do our best to show up, you're going to be surprised at the receptivity people are going to be giving you because you matter. And there's something about you, there's a light about you that you need to start recognizing. So show up and you're going to be just amazed at the love that's going to come to you by just being you because we need each other. We need each other. The last one, never give up. I love that. Never give up, ever. Yeah, I know, sometimes you want to, but don't. This life is precious and things happen. But there is this creative energy that I've been telling you about that does not die, this creative energy that wants to come out and express by means of you. Give it a chance. Don't give up. Let it come forward. You don't have to do a lot of arduous labor to make it happen. Just let it show up as you, so don't give up on it. Because that source of life is healing, it is who you are, and it's extraordinary. So give it an opportunity. So life demands that we participate in the art of living if we are going to live a joyful, fulfilling life. It is demanding that we have got to participate in this. Life is about being active in a way that works for you. Life is about being curious. Life is about seeing what's possible. Life is about living from a creative place that we all have, living from a creative place from deep inside of you and letting yourself play in this field of energy that we call planet Earth. So I want you all to pick up your paintbrush and paint your masterpiece because the time has come. Thank you. Namaste.